Hello, my very dear Capricorns. So, short and sweet tonight because I'm still dealing with a cold. What I was getting as I was starting to shuffle with you was a certain quality in my heart that felt a little guarded. It felt almost as though there was, excuse me, not exactly a wall around it, but a little bit of a buffer, protector area. And then as I started pulling the cards, it started becoming more clear. And the feeling that I'm getting with this Capricorn is that you have sometimes struggled with how to deal with your emotions. And you're being asked here to look at your patterns around that. Look at what the themes were and these patterned behaviors that you had around struggle and how struggle manifested for you in terms of dealing with your emotions. Now, it can be love emotions, it can be grief, it can be anger, it can be basically just dealing with emotion in general. How do you deal with emotion when you become destabilized, when you when you react to things? Are you more able to more able to respond than react, or have you been reactive? And you're being asked to really look at that because the tendency also can be to hang on to it to try to figure it out. And so what is being encouraged here in the process of this is, as you're looking at your patterns around struggle, think about what you could have done or how you could have stepped away, how maybe sometimes you push things farther than you needed to push them, whereas you could have just stepped back and let the situation take care of itself, that not everything needed to be sorted out and decided upon and analyzed in the moment because it was a reactive thing for you. That's not something I knew I was going to say. So again, this won't be for the whole collective. And it may not even be for your whole life. It may be around a specific situation that's happening now that has relevant patterns from the past, okay? Now, what you're being asked to do here is to carry on with a curiosity about this. Not so much, certainly not to be critical and not to judge, but just to open up to question. What was that? How did that happen? What was the result in terms of, like, just basically question whatever comes up for you as you start looking at those patterns around struggling in relationship, in dealing with emotion. And again, relationship doesn't have to be one-on-one romance. It can be with family, it can be at work, it can be anything where emotions come up in a way where you could potentially get triggered, okay, or destabilized. Your earth, you want to be stable. Now, what you're also being told in the process of this is cognitive distortions play a key part. And I never heard this before until today, and that was that you can think in cognitive distortions without actually verbalizing them. Now, what is a cognitive distortion? Cognitive distortions are statements that are not factually accurate, but are stated as though they are, and they're usually exaggerations. So, for example, I've got nothing to eat. Yes, I do. I've got a lot to eat. I just don't want to eat what I've got. I don't have a taste for it. Excuse me for a moment. So, how would that work in terms of thinking in cognitive distortions? Well, it can be almost kind of like what they're trying to convey to me here, I think. I'm just going to take a minute. It's like it can be a patterned way of thinking where one thing happens and now everything similar to that is going to happen exactly the same way. It's almost as though cognitive distortions can become expectations of the same thing. And that when we find ourselves having expectations that a similar kind of situation is going to end the same way or evolve the same way, that can be an extension of a cognitive distortion. Okay? So you might not even hear yourself say, oh yeah, this date's going to end like all the rest. Or this job interview is going to be like the last six. You may not even hear yourself say it, but you can carry that energy of expectation, which has the same quality as a cognitive distortion. So you're being asked to really, when that happens, check in with how you are feeling and if there's an underlying statement that represents that feeling. Okay? So again, if I'm feeling maybe less excited about going out on a date, what have I said about it? If I'm feeling nervous or hopeless about going out on a job interview, if I sit down and I say, well, what am I really thinking about this? Why am I feeling so flat about it? Well, it's because I don't expect it to happen. Why? Well, because all the others have. So then you can work with that. And then now you can say, okay, you know what? I'm going to step back and I'm going to choose to have no opinion right now. I'm going to say whatever I thought was going to happen here, it doesn't have to be. No, it doesn't have to be. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to allow myself not to have an opinion about how this might work out or where this might go. Instead, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm just going to let myself imagine all of my great qualities being there, and I'm going to deliberately surround myself with positive triggers that put my energy up and allow me to be in touch with that more that higher vibration, which sees possibility, okay, which allows for possibility, which expects possibility, great possibility, and not the likelihood of failure, but the possibility of success. So positive triggers, again, music, that you like, that makes you feel good and energized, the colors that you like, the scents that you like to wear, the clothes that feel good, what you read, what you listen to, all of that stuff, anything that's going to allow your energy to lift up. And then you can use that as a way to stay in touch with the world around you in a way that is open to possibility, as opposed to it's just always going to be this way because it always was. Okay, Capricorn? This is great. This for me is like a statement of you moving forward and really, really getting into the idea that however much you might like to have your feet on the ground with things, you can stay grounded and stay grounded in positive intention and possibility as well. Possibility doesn't have to be a scary thing, because sometimes I think we go for that sense of expectation of things kind of being the same, almost as a security blanket, because if it's the same thing, then we know how to deal with it. But now this is saying no, open to possibility. Okay? There you go, Capricorn. Take care. Thanks for showing up.